Hello, my name's Damien Smiler and I am the promoter at the Dublin Castle. I've been running Smiler Nights since September last year, so practically 6 months exactly on the dot. My dad's from Coventry, which is obviously known for the ska movement, the two-tone, which was linked to Madness and the Specials, which Madness started here back in 1979. So my dad showed me here, and I actually done a gig here when I was 16, and they clocked that I was 16 and it ended early. But I came back a few years later, about a year or two later, and got a bar job here. But I was always scratching around here from that age, 16. And just before the pandemic I was still working here, and then I returned and asked for a night, and that's how I started doing my nights here. But it appeals because of that history. You've got Amy Winehouse, you've got the Libertines with Pete Doherty, you've got the Arctic Monkeys that were signed on that stage, among many other. Blur played one of their first gigs here as well, and then Madness were residency here on Tuesday nights, just like Smiler Nights. Boris Johnson's a pun. Boris Johnson's Hi, I'm Ruben.
And I'm Troy.
What do you think it means to be a punk?
I think being a punk is an attitude, first of all, and in this day and age, like back in the time probably it was more to do with the music, and there is punk music around, obviously, the Dublin Castle, we're in Camden, it's punk, but I mean the attitude of kind of just not giving a shit what other people think, I think, not in a rude way, just in the way that you feel confident and you're not caring, you're living life. It's like everyone.
It's like a cultural movement that's like pushed by music, I think.
Yeah.
Like the way you dress, your attitudes, like fuck the patriarchy and all that.
Do you associate yourself with the punk movement?
I think so, definitely. I'm a drummer. I play in 2 or 3 punk bands, so yeah, I assume, yeah.
I work in Camden and every day I see different subcultures, punks, mods, new wave.
It's kind of transformed. It's become a new thing. But I may be wrong. I'm a punk apparently. I won't say no. What is it?
I don't want to wear this, I'm so hot. It's just like a shit.
I'm Maya, I'm 20, and I live in London.
So do you think that punk music stimulates the movement?
Yeah, definitely. Punk music in itself is just like an expression and an art form, and I think people love, just expressing themselves and being vulnerable and being real, and I think there's so many different forms of punk now as well. Like you have post-punk, you have like more traditional punk, you have even like more jazzier punk stuff. Like I think people are a lot more kind of experimental with the music that they make today, and I think that helps push the movement and it helps focus the movement because it gets people together, it gets people talking, it gets people collaborating, it gets people supporting each other. Like when venues are in trouble of shutting down, like everyone pulls together and puts money in, and it's like it creates that sense of community. Like the venues are like kind of the hub spots of the community in where I am anyway.
I think punk can't exist without a political fusion and motivation. And punk isn't a sound or a uniform, it's a universal attitude to be rebellious and individual. And so that comes in many, many forms which people don't ever assume, such as grime and many other genres, like subgenres of hip hop. That's more punk than a lot of like the stuff going on that people think's punk. You know, like post-punk bands or that. There's nothing rebellious about that, in my opinion, or particularly individual. I find it in other avenues, but there are some originals that do the punk 1976 style with Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, and they pull it off really well, and they're representing that movement of that time really well in a modern revamp.
My name's Michael and I'm from Bedford originally. To me, punk it's the antithesis of the society we live in. It's anti-consumerism, anti-capitalism, and I find that like within the music and the subculture, I found sort of a community that I can be a part of when I've not felt a part of mainstream society. I try to sort of be anti-consumerism, so you know, we live in a consumer culture where things are made to break, and I think punk is like, if something breaks, you fix it. You know, back in the 70s, their tops broke, they'd put a safety pin in it. That's why the safety pin's so iconic, you know, because they would just repair things with safety pins, or you know, they'd get needle and thread and just do it. They wouldn't care about, and that's what sort of how the look came about, being anti-consumerism and anti-capitalist. And I think I work in like a mainstream retail shop, and I see a lot of people come in and they're like I had this guy the other day come in and it was like, yeah, there's like this hole from where the tag was, can I return this? And it's like, this hole's not going to get any bigger, like it's not going to change, it doesn't affect the quality of this product. You just are so brainwashed in a way into thinking that like it's like damage, but it's not really, it's not going to change the quality of this product. So you're just brainwashed that like about consumerism. Cool. Okay, we're gonna
to know to just like, you know, we're not all just like angry and like we are angry, but we're not just like doing it because we're like rebellious and we don't care. Like I think it's the complete opposite. I think like most people I know in the punk scene like care an awful lot, and we're like really fucking sensitive, and we just want to get our voices heard, and we're just like frustrated and upset, and it's just an art form, it's a way of expressing ourselves.
I think at the end of the day that we just want to create a better future, and we're modelling ourselves, our ethos, and on the future that we want to create, and that it's not about causing, you know, like people, like, you know, like obviously punk and like anarchism are two things that sort of go quite together. Like anarchism isn't about like total lawlessness, it's about community-based efforts, and it's about, I feel like we're very focused on the individual, and while that's great in the sense of being, you know, individual expression and things like that, we've gone away from community, and I think we should bring that back, you know, helping each other out and things like that. And it's not just a local effort, it should be like it's a worldwide effort.
Is there anything that you kind of want people to know, or like you want to deconstruct maybe a misconception or like the way people think about punk movement?
Nah, nothing other than I need a piss. You know? Right now, because I'm in the moment, and there's a police car going by. Yeah, nothing other than I need a piss right now, because I'm living in the moment.